and welcome back to the ADHD Friendly podcast. I'm Patty Blinderman. I'm an ADHD coach, and I am always looking for ways to make my life a little bit more ADHD friendly. And I love bringing them here and sharing them with you in case it can make your life a little bit more ADHD friendly too. Today, I'm going to be sharing what I call a not very ADHD friendly calendar and planning tool, but I'm going to poke a little bit of fun at it. So this is from Stewart Magazine, and I know that she's not publishing that anymore, but when she did, she had a segment in there in the very front of the magazine. Each month she would have Martha's Month, where she posted her schedule for the month. And I've pulled a number of June months calendars. It looks like this. So if you're listening to this, I'm holding up a picture of an example of her calendar. I invite you to check out my video on ADHD Friendly podcast on YouTube if you'd like to see. I'm going to have a lot of visual examples in this episode, but I wanted to just highlight why I've saved these over the years, because they just made me laugh, because they were so above and beyond anything that I would consider putting on my list, or even realizing it was something I was supposed to be doing. Most of the time I'd read them, I'm like, am I supposed to be cleaning that? Was that something I was supposed to do? And so a lot of times it made me feel less than, like I wasn't even doing or even aware of the things I needed to be doing to keep up. But over the years, I've really seen it more with that ADHD friendly lens and just, put a little fun and play in it. So I decided for the month of June, I was going to look at what Martha had planned and see how many of the things could I add to my June calendar with a little fun and play lens added to it. So some examples of things that I did not add to my calendar, but just to highlight where they may not be ADHD friendly. She had one event that she said, pick spinach for fresh green juice. And another was harvest and dry lavender. Again, if I'm not a big gardener, a lot of things, which you'll see evidence of in a minute, but a lot of the things I plant don't really make it. And I always it's a great example of where we with ADHD brain wiring, we tend to start a lot of things but not finish them. I like to plant a lot of things, but I'm not really good at remembering to go back and keep up with it. So they're not very hardy and they don't survive naturally outside with the rain that falls and the sun that they're getting. They unfortunately a lot of times don't end up making it. So when I read harvest and dry lavender, I just thought, oh my gosh, the number of steps that would have to happen for that to even happen. And then what would I do with the dry lavender? It just was one of the things I wanted to highlight because it struck me as funny. Another that she has is walk through blooming peony garden. Great. That's great stuff, Martha. So I'm going to highlight a few things that Martha had on hers that I actually did try to add in my own way into my June calendar and share how they went. So the first thing that she had that I included on mine was sharpen knives and scissors. I have to say, I don't know if this is an annual thing. I have never sharpened knives and scissors. I just tend to buy more when they get dull. But I remembered when I saw it on her calendar that I do have a sharpening stone. So this is a little box that holds it. My grandfather made this for me probably 25 years ago. And if you can see it, there's not a scratch on it. It's never been used. I don't know how to really, it's funny because I could do it, but I don't know how to properly sharpen things. Do you just run it along? I would have to watch a YouTube video or something. So again, I like the idea, but in practice, I don't really plan on doing it, but I did find the sharpening stone my grandfather gave me. So I thought that was a step towards it, even if I'm not adding that to my list. So I found that interesting enough to just kind of play with and find my sharpening stone. And the next thing she had was clean outdoor light fixtures. Okay. I have got the cobwebs off my outdoor light fixtures in the past. Cleaning them, no, I wasn't something, again, it's an example of one of those things I didn't know I was supposed to be cleaning. But when I took a picture to try to get a picture of the cobwebs, which that's what I'm checking off. I did get the cobwebs with my little Swiffer duster up here. But when I tried to take the picture, this is actually, I held my camera up and took a picture of it. Apparently I've got some birds hanging out and doing a little business on there that I didn't realize was there. I didn't clean it because you can't see it. It's too high up. But maybe that's why Martha's cleaning light fixtures. I don't know, but I did get rid of the cobwebs, and maybe she's also cleaning the glass of the light fixtures. I don't know. That's like an example of something I say I don't have the bandwidth for. I'm not going to, I don't pay attention to it. I don't see it. So I'm not cleaning it. But I did dust off the cobwebs. So I checked that off. So that was my take on it. Another thing she had in June was make homemade lemonade. I did make homemade lemonade. She didn't say she grew the lemons, which was good because I definitely bought them, went to Costco, bought a bag of lemons. I made simple syrup from a recipe I found online. And I just, juiced the lemons with my little, I have a little IKEA juicer that was really easy to use. And it came out, it was lovely. It was really good. My husband made some Arnold Palmer's and really enjoyed it. So check, I did that one. That was fun. The next she had scheduled dog grooming appointments. I fortunately have dogs that don't need their hair clipped. And so the grooming is me. I, trim their nails and I'll give them a bath. So I don't need to schedule a dog grooming appointment, which is really good because I have a hard enough time just scheduling my own appointment to get my hair cut or anything. So, but I am checking off what I did to modify that was I added to my list the structure around making sure my dogs got their flea and tick medication and their heartworm medication. So I did that and checked it off. The next thing she had was weeding her rose garden. I'm sorry, it was plural, weed rose gardens. And I picked this one because, again, that cracked me up a little bit, the thought of having an actual rose garden. But I do have one rose bush and I planted it last year and it's still alive. It's actually bigger than it was. And it did have a couple of weeds behind it. So I pulled them out and I checked it off. So I weeded the rose garden. The next was she weeded her vegetable beds. And this is where I get to highlight how green my thumb is for planting vegetables. My husband made me some raised vegetable bed boxes for me because we do have deer and little rabbits and things that I've heard will eat them. And so I wanted them raised so that they couldn't eat them. And he built these a few years ago. I haven't successfully produced any vegetables from them, but these were actually, I didn't plant anything this year. These were actually just what grew from whatever survived in Illinois winter and just came back. I don't know what they are. They don't have any vegetables on them. They could be weeds. So I could be weeding it if I can confirm that they're weeds. I have a picture that shows like the reason I didn't plant vegetables is because the dirt really settled in this year and I just never got to the store to buy new soil for it and to get some vegetables. So what's growing is from last summer. I'm going to hold up a picture. If anybody knows what that is, I don't know if that's a weed. It's really big. It's growing like a weed, but it's not producing anything that looks like it could turn into a vegetable. So if it's a weed, I will pull it and then I can check that off. But I'm just kind of curious and I'm watching it to see what it is. What could it be? But weeding, not so much unless that turns out to be a weed. The next she had on her June list was plant sunflower seeds for late summer blooms. That sounded really sparkly to me. So I got myself a packet of sunflower seeds and I thought, okay, that'll be like around August. And my youngest daughter was born in August. And I remember sunflower seeds were all in bloom. I didn't know if these would really grow in Illinois, but I thought, okay, well, it'll be warm and I'll try it. And I thought about it and I kept meaning to and intending to, and it just didn't happen. And now it's too late in the season. So it's on my calendar. This is one of my wins, my takeaways from having fun and playing with Martha's month is I'm going to keep my June Martha's month to Patty's ADHD friendly month for next year and just see if I decide to plant them next year because they'll be on here and I can kind of revisit and see maybe I want to sharpen my knives and my scissors next year now that I know where the stone is. But I have the seeds and I might do it next year. But when I grabbed the seeds to share for this podcast, I found this little packet of pumpkin seeds that I got from my library. They had an event at the library and they gave out free seed packets. And this says harvest 105 days. So if I plant it now in July, it'll be ready right in time for Halloween. So thinking about planting those. That's my win for, just exploring what would I do? What's an easier way for me to approach the sunflower seeds for late summer blooms. If that didn't happen, this is something I can do. Maybe some pumpkins for the fall. And the last thing Martha had on her June calendar was first day of family vacation. So she planned a family vacation and she had written on her calendar the last day of July was the last day of June was her first day of her family vacation. I don't have a family vacation planned this summer, but I am going to do a number of podcasts on how to make vacation planning and packing tips and a number of different vacation themed topics around bringing that ADHD friendly lens to vacation planning of all types. And there'll be in future podcasts coming up in the next few months. So keep an eye out for those. But I just wanted to share that one because when I saw it, I just thought, oh, okay, I don't have a vacation that I have planned right now that I'm going to be able to, check off in June. But I do want to just highlight because I know that that is often an area that can be challenging for us when we have ADHD brain wiring. So that's all I wanted to share, comparing Martha's month to Patty's month with a little bit of fun and play and an ADHD friendly lens to just see what I wanted to add to my list and what got checked off and what didn't. So remember, the best time to start your personal owner's manual is where exactly where I'm going to put my June calendar. So I remember next year what I did and how fun it was and what I want to keep doing. If you haven't started it yet, the second best time to start it is now. That's all for this ADHD friendly podcast episode. If you like this, please subscribe, please share it. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers on my YouTube channel, ADHD Friendly Podcast, getting there one subscriber at a time. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, tally ho.